Hi everyone, I'm back for a special reason. I'm so glad to interview this amazing guy as a friend, as a man, and one of the best DJs of the world, of course, the only one, Mr. Cascade. I'm gonna bring him
Ah,
to you guys, and of course we need this.
there it is.
And many thanks for having this conversation with me, Cascade. You know, I really miss you. Really miss you since last
Man.
time.
I
Can
miss
I
you
say
guys. I miss
I miss you?
Brazil.
Can I say miss you? Two guys miss you. It's okay, right?
Yeah, it's okay, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's okay.
I miss you, man. Yeah, last time was Planeta Brazil. Was a great night. Was a great night in 2019. You played for maybe I don't know, maybe 30,000 people. Was huge, and so thank you again. I got like 5 6 questions. Basically, the majority of the students they are in the beginning, so they are dying for your suggestions and in your experience and everything.
Okay.
So, but you're doing good because we spoke before we got in there, and you're doing good. You look sharp. You look very good. You have thousands of shows all sold out, so we are very happy for you.
Yes. Things are good. Thank you.
It's let me well, I'm gonna ask you something because here in Brazil, I'm not sure about abroad, but here in Brazil, during the pandemic, a lot of artists they start to release new music. I mean, not new music, but more music. You know, like oh, I used to release like once a month. Now I need to release more. I need to give more. But on the other
Yeah.
hand, when you talk to them, they say, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing because I if I don't put a lot of content, maybe I'm gonna lose followers and fan. But on the other hand, I would like to save my bombs because right now there is no show, so the other DJs can't play my music. So how gonna be spread it out? So they say, yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. So I would like to ask you your opinion. What did you do? What do you think artists should do? Because here in Brazil, we're still getting back to the show. So
Yeah.
what are your opinion
Yeah.
about that?
I think it's a great question, and I think everybody's been struggling with this, right? It's not just Brazil or Portugal or the America, Canada. I think all people in the world of entertainment, not just EDM or house music or whatever. I think in the world of entertainment, people have really been struggling to understand where's that balance. For me, in the beginning, because I thought, oh, COVID will last 2, 3 months, 4 months, the tops will be through this. So I was like, I think this is a great opportunity to spend a lot of time in the studio and make music. So I was like, those first 3 months, because I'm used to traveling 3, 4, 5 days a week, I was like, studio, every day studio. I wasn't even going outside. And I had so much music and I started to release it. But what I realized, and you touched on this, you talked about it, is that really much of the music I make is made to be played in the nightclub at my show at 2 in the morning and look into my eyes. Yeah. You put this song out now, people are driving around in their car, sitting in their living room, making dinner, whatever. It doesn't have the same, they can't connect to it in the same way.
Even
So in the
during the
beginning, I
lives, right?
released a lot of music.
Even
Yeah,
during the
it's a
lives, it's
different
like
thing.
5 p.m. You're in your coach.
Yeah, that's right. So for me, in the beginning, I put out a lot of music and then I started to slow down. And I did this with streaming as well. I was doing streaming, like everybody, because they're like, how do I stay connected? And I think people thought, oh, we'll only be doing this for a short time. So I could just really stay connected through live stream and music. But then I was like, oh, this is going to last longer. I came to the realization as the whole world was kind of like, well, COVID is going to take a long time to get through. So I started saying, okay, let's make more of a schedule. And I tried to make the live streams something more special. I mean, probably the coolest thing I did during the entire, lockdown was I streamed from the Grand Canyon,
Yes.
which was just beautiful. And I had these drones flying around capturing it as the sun went down, and it was very magical. And a lot of people tuned in because up to that point in the pandemic, everybody in our space was just kind of, hey, I'm streaming from my kitchen, I'm in my living room, oh, hey, I'm at my studio, just very ordinary places. But I was fortunate to kind of be ahead of the curve and say, I need to go somewhere special. And I feel like I came up with that idea, and a lot of people were kind of circling around those kind of thoughts because after that, more and more people like, oh, I'm in the desert, oh, I'm in the jungle, oh, I'm on a boat. More and more people were able to put time and energy into streaming from special places. So I think to answer your question, I kind of said a lot of things
No,
there.
no, perfect. That's perfect.
It's important to keep that connection with your audience and continuing to try and build your audience and connecting with people, but that you don't have to do it every day or not even once a week. Make it something that's unique to you. If you're just getting started or you only have a few records out, or what makes you, unique and special, and why are people listening to you? Try and capture those moments, and I don't think it needs to be done all the time. Make it special, make it
Yeah,
fun. It's like if
yeah,
you're doing it every day, it's not special, right? It's like, oh, every day at noon I'm here. Oh, okay, cool, whatever. People pay attention, they don't pay attention. But if I'm like, oh, every other Friday I stream from on top of my roof and this is what I'm going to do, then people can kind of pay attention to it. So it's kind of just finding that right balance for you.
balance.
And I
Right.
think, yeah, and I think for every artist that's very different. Like Sophie Tucker has been streaming every day for, I don't know, a year and a half now. And I mean, for me, this is not the right thing, but for them it works very well. They
Yeah.
stream for 30 minutes at lunchtime, people tune in, whatever. So I think for everyone, that finding that rhythm of where it feels natural for you will be, it'll be different for every person.
Right, right. And you just got back on tour. In USA is doing really good. You have, the Las Vegas residency. You're gonna have your own show sold out. By the way, um, are you? It's your set different. If I would have access to your record box before the pandemic, and right now, did you put a lot of new music in your set, or you find a new balance, a balance between? It's a clever
This
question.
is a great question.
you,
So my first gig back, I was thinking,
what
wow,
you do?
what do I play? I've been off for a year and a half. I have all this new music, right? That when I say new, it's a year old, 18 months old, 12 months old, 14 months old. So to me, I haven't played this live to anyone. So it's
Yeah,
brand new, right? So I get in the gig and brand new song, next song, brand new song. And people are like, yeah, they're feeling it. But then I play something 5 years old. Whoa! People were very, very nostalgic. They want,
emotional wise.
that's it. They want that connection. And if I only am playing new music that I made during the pandemic, that connection's not there yet. They don't have it. Or even if they know that song, they think, oh, I love when he played that on the stream and I was sitting there with my girlfriend and we made spaghetti that night. It's different. The music that I play that's 5 years old or 10 years old, big hits, my big hits, they're like, oh, I remember that time I saw Kaskade in concert for the first time at Ultra Festival in 2016. And man, it was such a good time in my life before the pandemic. So people are thinking of the past and very nostalgic. So right now it's interesting. My sets are this blend of older music and then sprinkled in there some of these new songs. And I think it's going to take some time for people to get used to these new songs and create new memories. So it's finding that balance. You can't have too much new stuff. They want the old hits. They're very fond of those old memories right now.
Yeah, sure. I agree. I was very curious to ask you this
Yeah,
because we don't know here in Brazil. We don't know when we speak to the artist. They say, "I'm gonna see."
yeah.
so I'm gonna kind of change the subject, but it's very important for us. Is do you think, Casket, for new artists, what is important regards a record label deal? Do you think they should try to find and to make a deal for different records labels, or do you think no, go to one record label and try to sign a long term? Because
So,
you are at a different level. I know you have a long, kind of long relationship with big record labels, but for those who are in the beginning, do you think, do you have an opinion about that?
yes, I do.
You,
I think it's a great question, and I talk a lot about this to people who are just getting started. So it's a good job, Sandra. It's a good one. I feel like in the beginning, you sit down and you work on a song and you write something and you're very proud of it and you finish it. And you're like, wow, okay, I have this song. I think it's powerful. I like it. I think it can get out there and people will like it. You listen to that song and then look at your record collection, go through your record box and see other songs that you feel like, oh, I would play this in my set and I'd put these songs around it. And then look at those labels that are putting out that kind of music. Then send that song to them because these people are going to know how to exploit and market this song the best. They specialize in this sound, this style. Like, oh, you're making tech house? Mark Knight and Tool Room. They know they can get your record to those DJs that will like it, right?
and
You
they
can't
have
do
the
that on
right
your own.
followers and the right
That's right.
fans. So you're
They
reaching.
they're promoting it to people. So listen, you're giving them a lot of new artists are like, oh, but they take all the money. But look, they can get it to the people, right? It's a partnership. You offer them good music that fits in with their label and the artists that they promote, and they give you an audience. And if it fits really well with that label and that group and that sound, you'll have success from that. I mean, think of something like Anjuna, the Anjuna family. The guys who get there, this is very trance kind of music, but
Mhm.
the people that put stuff out on Juna, I feel like that audience accepts new artists very easily. So if Anjuna says, oh, cool, we like this and we're going to put it out and promote it, all of a sudden that artist has an audience because those people are there and they're listening. Now, if I was a young artist, I wouldn't sign a long-term deal. I would say, oh, okay, you want to do 2 or 3 singles with me. Okay, let's do that and see how it works. And you want to make sure you're happy at the end of it. Then I would say, okay, if you like that and they did well by you, or they paid you and they promoted and marketed it, well, cool. Maybe stick with them a little longer. But you don't want to sign anything too long. When I was very young and green, I signed a very long deal. They gave me a lot of money, and I was like, oh, I'm going to do this because it'll help me. But when I got into that deal, I think doing these short deals is more advantageous to somebody who's just getting started. And if they'll let you, I would say, because if you make a song that's a little bit different vibe, you're like, oh, I like to play tech house stuff and more like Brazilian bass stuff. Okay, when I do the Brazilian bass stuff, you should go with a label that really promotes that and markets that stuff. So okay, cool. I can get these two audiences working for me, because they're marketing to two different groups. So I think do what you can, but it's really important to look at the people that are promoting the music that you're making, that kind of style.
And I think you said something very cool because it's a kind of taste, you know. Try to experiment, you know what I mean. And if it was very good for both sides, for of course for the record label and for you as an artist, then you can keep doing. But
Yeah.
not right. And by the way, how is your record label? I mean, do you think that new artists also, it's not good to start their own label in the beginning, right? That doesn't make sense. Because
It's too hard.
it's so
You
hard.
don't you
It's
don't
a
know the
lot of
people.
work. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work, man.
it's a
You
lot of
must have
work.
a
It's
lot
like
of people.
cool. You can get it on Spotify or you can get it on Beatport, but look, the more important thing is I like that tool room example because I make a song that's a tech house song. Dude, they have an email list of 300 important DJs around the world that have radio shows and blogs and SoundClouds that are important, and they can get that to all of those tastemakers. You don't have that. You might have 10 guys that oh, I got my 10 friends that I follow on Instagram. I could DM them, whatever. A lot of these guys, they don't know. I mean, dude, I get people sending me music 50 times a day. I listen to 10% of it, maybe. I listen to music from when you send me music, I listen to it. Oh, Sandro says this is hot. Let me check it out. I listen to what my friends send me. But if I
Yeah.
don't know you, I can't. I don't listen to this. There's too much music in the
Two.
world. I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to have somebody who whittles it down. So it's
But
important that you partner up with labels that can get it out there. So starting your thing right out of the gate is not good. Once you get some traction and momentum, yeah, maybe. But even, do you want to do that, or do you want to just sit around and make records and go play records? I think that's more fun than sitting around,
yeah.
worrying about other things.
By the way, I've been telling my students that it's very important, Cascade, to promote. I mean, to spend some money on Instagram or stuff like this to promote your money, because while we know that, for example, if you have like a 10,000 followers, when you post, oh, I have a new music coming out tomorrow, uh, Instagram gonna deliver it for like 5%. Maybe if I have a lot of people, comment,
Yeah,
they're gonna
yeah,
deliver like to 10%. So you're gonna reach 1,000 people from 10,000 people. That so you think, oh, it's okay, 10,000 people gonna see my new music and they're gonna go to my Spotify and they're gonna play. But this is not true. They gave us amazing tool. Now they are charging us for this amazing tool, right? They are very
yeah.
clever.
They just pulled it back. They
Yeah.
pulled it back.
So, by the way, I'm going to have a special class with a guy who runs what we say. I don't know how to say this in English, but we call here in Brazil traffic. Like, so he goes to the Facebook business and okay, we're gonna put some money per day on Reels. Now you can sponsor Reels
Yep,
or Instagram or feeds
yep.
and start blah, blah, blah. And I'm telling the students, you must keep some money for that. Don't spend a lot of money on video clips, stuff like that, because then you have an amazing production, amazing music, a wonderful video clip, but you don't have money to put and to spread it
Yeah,
out.
no one will
Of course,
see
it's
it.
different.
No one will
This
hear
is
it.
another level. I'm talking about new guys. Yeah. So I'm telling,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. So do you agree with this thing that so much, so many music, Casket, so many good music, by the way, sometimes. I mean, so you need to, you know, do something. Otherwise, your amazing music gonna be, you know, for 10 people. 10 people gonna
I mean, I could write the biggest song in the world in my
uh-huh.
studio today, this afternoon. I could hang up the conversation with you, go into the studio and write the best song that's ever been written. It's the biggest song next to the Beatles or Michael Jackson, right? But if nobody hears it, it doesn't matter, right? So you need to find which platforms are working for you. I think Instagram is extremely powerful. TikTok is insane. I mean, TikTok now is breaking artists,
Yeah,
Um, so these platforms are extremely powerful, and trying to market and use that as best that you can. Yes, it's important that you save a little bit of money. You got to sit down and be like, okay, how much can we spend? But you got to get it to people. It's like for me, yeah, I have over 1 million people on my Instagram, but only a small percentage of them see or hear something that's new. So I always have to save a little bit of money to make sure that this can go wider. And what I do is I spread it out over TikTok or Facebook and
you
Instagram,
still do
all these
this. You still do
Oh
this. You
yeah.
still
Oh
spend
yeah.
money on marketing.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
For sure. Yeah, it's very important because these platforms, in the beginning it was free. I mean, dude, when Instagram first started, I put up a picture of me eating rice and beans. 500,000 likes. Oh my gosh, it's on the popular page. It's crazy. Everything would go viral all the time. But as more people piled into the platform, they realized, oh, let's just turn off the faucet, constrict it.
Yeah,
That's just it. Now you have to pay for that access to the group of people that already want to hear from you. So, throw a little bit of money behind it and see what works. When you have the
yeah,
right clips and when you have the right things, it naturally does something. And then you can put a little bit of money in it and it will do more. So,
yeah. And I remember I was with Alok maybe 5 years ago, and he told me, yeah, in the beginning on Facebook, not Instagram. So in Facebook, yeah, I used to put like 100 AIs. Now is my algorithmic got addicted. I need to give 500 to have the
yeah,
same result, because
yep,
yeah,
that's it.
the
They just
algorithm got
kept
clever.
turning
Oh
it up.
yeah, put some money.
Yep.
uh, are you aware about? We are almost finished. Okay, just the last two questions.
It's great. It's great, man.
Um, how you release a music with Chemical Surf, Brazilian superstar duo. The guys are amazing, and so the questions are right now because Brazil is during the pandemic, is still in the pandemic. There are a lot of DJs traveling in U.S. right now. Bhaskar, Alok's brother, cat dealers. I think Dub Dog's gonna go. Well, a lot of guys. Oh, Vintage. He just played seven
Yeah,
hours in
that's
Space Miami. He gonna get back there. Um, and here in Brazil, the sound is kind of. We are not playing the Brazilian. Of course, we still have Brazilian bass, but it's going more to progressive. So my questions, a lot of questions is, uh, because my question is, are they playing only for Brazilian crowd? Of course, it's not the case of Vintage. He's very, very big. He's playing Space in Miami. But other DJs, they are playing more for Brazilians. Can you Americans and can you as an artist, do you see something on the news? Do you feel that Brazilians are starting to get in their space because you know the music, love yourself, you know the music. The
yeah.
Vintage is huge. So
I
can you
feel
feel it,
that's been.
or it's still for Brazilians? You don't have a perception.
I I feel it, but I might be the wrong guy to ask because I've played over 100 shows in Brazil, and
Yeah, you
I'm
have a
going to
strong
Brazil
relationship.
every year. Yeah, I've been going to Brazil for years and years, and every time I go to Brazil over the last 10 years, I come home with always like a handful of new tracks, right? That I'm like,
Yeah.
man, nobody in America is playing these tracks, and I play them, and oh man, everybody wants to know this song. What is Kaskade playing? Oh, I went to Brazil. I got this. And I remember Murillo, a friend of mine, Eric Murillo, I saw him in the airport one time. This is years ago. And he's like, oh, do you have this track? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I got it, man. I'm going to take it back home and play it. And, people didn't know it. So I think over the last 5 years, the Brazilian sound has gotten out more. I think generally speaking, people here in the US and Canada are still like, hey, what is that sound?
Uh-huh.
But it's very housey, especially the Brazilian bass stuff. We have a very kind of West Coast bassy sound that's similar to the Brazilian.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more aggressive, like wow, wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow, you know. It's almost like Brazilian bass meets Skrillex or something like this,
Yeah.
but it's still house tempo. And that was very popular here. So I feel like that was some influence from Brazil. But I think more and more now, I mean, there's Brazilians all over the world. I play in New York and there's Brazilians at my show. I play in Miami, Brazilians at the show. I play in San Francisco, Brazilians at the show. So there's people from, all over the world at these shows. So that influence has been felt. Um, but I feel like really vintage culture with this new kind of proggy,
Yeah.
kind
Proggy.
of, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, but it's like housey prog. It's like Camel Fat, this
Mm-hmm.
whole sound that is kind of happening where it's like housey, but more synthetic. I feel is kind of the next wave. Um,
Here in
the
Brazil is the next
love you
wave.
tonight
Yeah.
is the next wave there. Yeah,
Yeah.
and people are
Also because,
responding.
we have a big star bringing it. You know what I mean? Of course, So
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
And by the way, have you changed your music from the beginning of last year to right now? Are you releasing more vocals or more bass? Can you tell us something
Um,
about that? Because
yeah.
it's hard to
Here,
predict,
listen.
right?
It's very hard to predict. I mean, and listen, I think if you're chasing that sound, your whole career you'll be chasing. You need to do stuff that you love, and then hopefully people will discover that, right? I mean, you can always move and be influenced and inspired by what's happening for sure, but it's bad to copy. Find your own lane and try and do that. For me, I was always making house and deep house, like from Chicago to San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
And then when that sound kind of started to evolve around, I don't know, 2007, 2008, and then Dead Mouse came in. And I was always really focused on lyrics and melodies, songwriting. So when the more proggy stuff started to kind of get popular, a lot of guys were asking me, "Hey, can you help me with songwriting? You always have amazing vocals. Can you help me with songwriting? Who's that singer? Can you help me record something?" Yeah, yeah, sure. And then I collaborated with Deadmau5 because his stuff was very synthetic, proggy, but yet I could understand it because I had enough of a house feel to it. So I said, "Hey, let's make a song together." Okay, cool. And it kind of started that next wave of prog music that was had a housey vibe to it, but also very strong lyrics, very strong vocal, great melody. And for me, that was a nice lane to be in for a long time. But I've always made little, house things here and there on the side in my albums because this is a sound I love and it will always be with me. I'm very excited to see kind of this new kind of prog 2.0. I kind of because I think it relates to my sound. I play records now that are 10 years old and they sound very current. Something I made a long time ago. Oh, wow, what is that? Oh, dude, this is a remix I did 12 years ago. So I think that sound is interesting to me and it sounds very natural to me to be making stuff like that. I'm very inspired by what vintage culture is doing, Camel Fat, Gorgon City, a lot of guys that are kind of pushing that direction. I think it's fun, you know. I think it's refreshing because when EDM got so big and so noisy, it just got you lose the melody, you lose the vocal, you lose the song. So for me, it's nice to have more of a balance back right now.
But when you are playing, well, we're gonna play not next Saturday, July 15th, right? You're gonna play in a 30,000 people crowd for your own party. Uh, but you still need to play some EDMs because it's so huge, 30,000 people. I mean, so you bring some EDM old stuff, or you have like a new EDM like in your pocket.
Uh, I will play some old stuff and then some new stuff. But people are more receptive because look, the crowd changes over. The people who were big with Swedish House Mafia and EDM, that's 10, 12 years ago now, 10
Yeah,
years ago. Those
yeah.
people those people are at home with kids and jobs. They don't go out anymore, man. So the new kids, when they hear Love You Tonight, to them that sounds big. Oh, I'm gonna love you tonight. All I need, to them, this sounds big. But to us that know the old EDM stuff, it's like, oh no, this is still chill, man.
Because we saw the both things. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. We
yeah,
saw it. We can compare, right?
yeah. So in my shows, it's always kind of walking that line of having those big, aggressive moments that translate to these massive crowds in a stadium, but then being able to kind of bring it down and have more, you know, more chill moments that people still connect with. And I think you can do that when you have a good song. Like when I
Right.
play Room for Happiness, that song is very chill. The production is very just kind of linear, you know. But it works because
I
people know
love,
that song and they love
yeah,
this song. Yeah.
I love
So
when you play 4 a.m. at 4 a.m. I just
ah,
love it. I just love it. This music is,
everybody,
yeah,
yeah.
I remember also, it's still so strong for me, man. Uh, well, we have last question because I promised you Cascade going to be very, very short and I took more time. Well, can you tell to a new artist who is so anxious? He wants to be Cascade. He wants to, realize the dream of living with, music, of course, get some money, but mostly be happy. But he's so confused and he wants to be cascading 2 days and it's not easy like that. So I would like to ask you, please say to our students something that you should do most important in cascades right now, because when you started we didn't have Facebook and Instagram. Wow, so it's a different world. It's more right now, it's more competitive, more tough. I Of course. So
Sure.
do you agree? Can you say some words? What you do if you was in their position right now, just in the beginning?
Yeah, yeah, I love that question. I get asked this the most out of all the
Oh,
questions
okay.
when I'm
Yeah, of
touring
course, of
around.
course.
People like, what would you do right now?
Yeah,
I think. it's important to really focus on the thing that you love. For me, when I first got into the studio, I really like to write songs. I have an idea for a lyric. Eyes are the windows to my soul. Okay. All right. Room for happiness. So I really spent a lot of time on songwriting. Okay. Like, cool. I know how to program drums and I can work the synthesizer. I know how Ableton works. Okay. Cool. Learning that and taking that. But I'm like, not a lot of people were writing songs. That made me unique. Back then, most of the dance records were instrumental. Only a few vocals. There wasn't that many vocals. It wasn't that popular. Everything was just drums, with just little sample vocals.
Mhm.
So I knew that made me unique. So I think look at what you enjoy doing. If you like promoting parties or if you're really good at promoting and marketing, focus on that and do as much of that as you can. If you're really good at writing songs, good, do as much of that as you can. If you're a good producer, do as much of that as you can. If you're a rocking DJ and a great performer, go out
Mhm.
and do as many gigs as you can. Don't worry about, oh, he's not paying me enough, or I just played here. That do as much as you can and become as good at that as you possibly can. Then try and build the other skills around you. Okay, I need to be a better producer now or a better DJ now, and just keep working on these other talents once you master that one. And find stuff that makes you happy. I mean, I think that's the thing. Listen, when I was first DJing, somebody would pay me $100, $200, and I was like, whoa, somebody's gonna pay. I can go eat dinner with my wife tomorrow if I get $100. This is amazing. I wasn't so concerned. Oh, I know I need $2,000. I need this. I was like, I was having fun doing something that I loved, and I just would do more and more and more and get better at it and try and take it a little farther each time. Um, so I think it's, finding that sweet spot for yourself, what you really enjoy doing and doing as much of that as you possibly
Yeah, I
can.
lo- I love when you said something. It sounds very cliche, but it's the truth. Do what you love and try to do what you think you're good. I mean, if you're not good on
Yeah.
marketing, okay, hire someone that is very good on marketing. But
Yeah.
don't
Right.
don't try to be the God. I mean, just try to find
Find
what
your
you're good
thing.
at, find your thing, and of course that you love. Yeah, thank you very much. So please don't go away. I'm just gonna, of course, I'm gonna put you back in the green room. But if we can speak a little bit in the green
All
room.
right. All right. Thanks,
Okay, guys,
guys.
this was Cascade. Cascade, you can say bye.
Ah, gracias. Raul. Obrigado.
Obrigado. Yes.
Obrigado.
Okay.
Obrigado.
So we just got Cascade. I told you that he's amazing. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Bye.